What's up, stock strategists, crypto connoisseurs, and technical traders? It's me, Stock Picks by Tim, and I'm back again to talk about a couple of stocks to put on your radar that are either at buy zones or are very close. Now let's get into this one, and also keep note, we've got crypto rallying, Bitcoin rallying at about 60K now, so this also has another catalyst to bring, at least in terms of the crypto miners coming up here. But let's go. Okay, everyone, now we're going to kick this off in no particular order. I'm just going to go through the order from the thumbnail, so starting with Bngo. And now this one, Bngo, I don't really touch on this one very often. Seems like those things like the medical sector, I'm not very knowledgeable on. That being said, though, Bngo to me is still a screaming buy. And, just from a technical standpoint, you see that we have very, very strong support at that $5 level. Although recently it did drop just for a short period, just for a couple days, and then it quickly came back. And now we're just kind of at this point trading in the middle of this channel that we've kind of been trading in. To me, still, this is in a buy zone. We have a lot of upward potential. If you're bullish on the genomics sector, I would definitely recommend BioNano where it's at. It seems to be very close to a support. The only other time besides very, very recently that we dropped under $5 was actually back here in May. So that was just back here in May. But I have had Bngo, and I've mostly just kept this one kind of on the back burner for me. I just have it hanging out in my portfolio, doing its own thing. I did pop it when it was getting in the teens. I didn't take all my profits. I did just take some. I wish I would have taken all in hindsight. But like people say, hindsight's 20/20. But I did get this around the $2-3 mark, ran it up to like 6-7, took some profits again, not at the very top, but like in the $12 range, I'd say. And held on to the rest, and so far it's just been kind of trading sideways. But to me, it's the perfect time to just buy this because it's in such a good zone. Now another one, I'm not going to go over the charts on this one. I've got other videos where I do go over the chart on it. But just the other day, it lined up a very nice W pattern. Took some quick gains on that one. Actually played a call with that right when I saw that W starting to form that double bottom, coming back up. I did do a quick call, made some quick money, but that's just short-term stuff. It's kind of irrelevant here in terms of moving forwards. So we do have analysts saying it's a hold with a 1-year price target of 1058. Market cap still under 1 billion. To me, this one's a screaming buy. I think it's in a great position here. We've got companies like Nikola trading at about 5-6 times the valuation, which to me is just insane. There's definitely a disconnect there. But if you want to see more about Workhorse, I do cover this one relatively often. I do like Workhorse a lot. And it's just an interesting stock to talk about. There seems to be always something new with this stock. It's got a very big Reddit following. But definitely another one to watch. I feel like where it's at, there's minimal risk. I mean, this thing not that long ago before the USPS decision, went to Oshkosh. This thing was like trading in the 30s, almost 40. There was news about the infrastructure bill. This was back almost a year ago now, guys. But there's news about the infrastructure bill, and that thing sent this from like the 20s to just about 40. I did make some gains on that one, got out with some of my position, but I've been holding the rest long term, and it's just been like on a steady decline ever since. To me, this is a buying opportunity where it's at now. I didn't really buy too much from after it went from like high 30s just down and just bad news after bad news. We had the infrastructure bill getting pushed off, which didn't help this thing. We had the USPS decision falling through, which everyone was so sure was going to be Workhorse. That's why I feel like this thing, it was kind of a very unexpected move, so that just caused a huge drop. But we have those two negative catalysts. We also had the recall recently, another negative catalyst there. This thing has just been beaten down so much, but in my opinion, once we have any positive news about, vehicle deliveries, when we've got some positive news about infrastructure bill, getting any of that going, that's definitely going to be a positive catalyst for this one. Now getting into Chargepoint, this is one, I occasionally touch on this one. To me, it's in a screaming deal. I mean, it's been a very long while since we went under 20. And actually, if you look back here, I've talked about this a while ago. This was a couple months ago, but we had this bounce down to 20, bounce back up. And it did this 4 times in a row, all within like about a 2-month period. I really expected this to, when it come down to 20, I really expected it to just bounce back up. But, I guess with the infrastructure bill being pushed later, that definitely didn't help this thing out. just how the market's been trading. You know, this is another growth stock, had a lot of growth. It was a SPAC, ran up, ran crazy. Now that's part of it, is just the crazy growth that it's had. What comes up must come down. Very volatile stock. But, you know, the EVs as a sector, this along with all the EVs have been just beaten down over the last couple months. I mean, heck, I mean, not just the EV sector, like all growth stocks and all small caps in general. But, you know, you can definitely tell when on my, you know, my list of my stocks, you can tell that a lot of these are kind of smaller cap, you know, lower cap, beaten down growth stocks. And to me, that's just where the biggest opportunity is. If you wanted something safe, you could always go with like Apple, you know, AMD, one of the blue chips, you know, Netflix, Google. But to me, those are already so overpriced. I mean, a lot of them, I mean, I believe in Google, but to me, I just haven't pulled the trigger on that. You know, they're just at like such a high valuation. But regardless, it's a growth stock. It's been beaten down, and I think it's a screaming deal. Anything under 20, even in the low 20s, is still a good deal, especially if you're long term on this one. But yeah, I'm very bullish on Chargepoint. Now, getting into Indi. Now, this one is Sphere 3D. They're going to be merging with Griffin. This one has just been rallying, and it's got a hell of a lot to do with Bitcoin rallying. You know, personally, this one, to me, isn't in a buy zone where it's at. I would definitely wait for it to cool down. I have been closely watching calls and placing limit buy orders for calls a little bit under the bid price just to see if there's fluctuation, because there is a lot of volatility with the calls. I've noticed you can get in, get out, make a quick, you know, like $15-20 profit without too much of a struggle. This is one to keep an eye on for calls. I've been buying actually the $10 2023 calls. I've been looking at the like 2022s. You know, I generally, for options, I like to go a little ways out. So it definitely mitigates the risk. The time decay doesn't hurt you as much. Like, sure, you're paying a higher price for it just because there's less risk inherently, but there's a lot better chance that you will make money compared to just getting an option that's like a week out or 2-3 weeks out. And that's just how I've been playing this one. I think, you know, I could see this thing definitely pulling back. But really, it really depends on what Bitcoin's doing. And currently, Bitcoin is just on a freaking rally. We're coming up really close to 60,000. So keep this in mind, guys. If you are able to wake up before the market opens and before pre-market, it's definitely a good idea to watch this, see what this is doing. If this can keep rallying, first off, if this can keep rallying, you know, coming into pre-market, then yeah, Indi is probably going to rally as well. But if this thing starts dropping, like coming into the market, you can expect Indi will probably drop as well. But that's just how I'm playing this one. I put a little trend line here. It hasn't really dipped under it. I could definitely see this thing continuing up a little higher before maybe cooling down. And here's the tweet here that people are reading into, that thinking that why would they put this tweet unless they were planning on like Bitcoin futures, ETFs, and that kind of thing. So, you know, definitely this is partially, I think, what's causing this like huge rally lately. So we'll see how long this could be sustained. I definitely see Bitcoin rallying, but we will see what happens. You know, it's a volatile thing. It can go in any direction. I can't really call it. Any YouTuber saying they know where Bitcoin's going, you know, they can only use the tools that they have. Anyone can be wrong. You know, just a bad or a good catalyst can totally throw this off from what your projections are. But yeah, I am overall bullish on Bitcoin. I've got my BlockFi crypto card accumulating rewards. Definitely love that. You know, I'm a big fan. But you know, I do think that Bitcoin can continue to go up, but I also think it could cool down. I'm not buying Bitcoin at the price it's at. I've been buying, but typically when it reaches these like current highs or like very short-term highs, I like to just kind of wait, assess what's going on, take my time, be patient. You know, there's so much out there. You don't have to throw all your money at anything. You don't have to get FOMO. Just be patient. There's no reason you can't take your sweet time and be patient. And if something blasts off without you, well, hey, there's always the next thing to get into. Opportunities out there are endless. Don't get FOMO. Don't freak out. When people see things at all-time highs, yeah, there can be a breakout, and you can, of course, ride that breakout momentum, but you got to know what you're doing there, and you got to be quick to take profits. But if you're bullish long-term, just dollar cost average through it. But getting back into the stocks here, here's another one to watch very closely. You know, I did draw this diagonal. There's a couple videos back that I put this here. We've got a support of about 1130 that I see a pretty strong support. And then this diagonal here that we've been just bouncing off of as time goes by. And we're getting very close to it. I'm actually considering buying. I did actually sell cash secured put. So I sold a cash secured put. If it goes down to $10, I'll be forced to buy 100 of Indi. and that will actually put me at like I think it was like a 958 average price because of the premium that I'm getting, which is like $42. So that I couldn't pass on the premium. I figured Indi is very unlikely to hit $10, and if it does, I'll be a happy buyer at that price anyways. I love Indi. This is definitely one of my highest conviction stocks. That's why I figured a cash secured put going into November, a quick $40. If not, you know, if it doesn't get triggered and I'm not forced to buy the 100, well, hey, at least I got a quick $40 to help pay for a bill or something. But, you know, watch this stock. I like it where it's at. You can always dollar cost average where it's at, but I would prefer it a little bit lower, like more closer to like the $10.50, maybe $11 range. Just be patient on it though. I think it could potentially pull back a little bit, but we'll see where it goes. Any good news of the chip shortage, like easing, any good news of the chip shortage and us coming out of that will definitely cause this thing to just go on a rally, along with all the other chip stocks. And then capping it off here with Volta. I did a previous video about Volta. I'm definitely bullish on this one. It's a EV charger and it's typically free charging. It just has ads on a screen. So it's a good way, you know, it's kind of an innovative thing there. People definitely prefer free charging. I mean, you can't beat free. But looking at this one, the market cap's just barely over $1 billion. Analysts say it's a $14 price target, which is a double up from here. I really like this one where it's at. It's been beaten down. Alright everybody, I hope you enjoyed the quick video. Keep these ones on your radar and keep a close eye on what Bitcoin's doing. If it goes over 60K, you can expect these crypto miners to just freaking rally. If it drops, we might see a little pullback, and it's anybody's guess, you know. But anyways guys, thanks again. I will see you on the next one.